Ahmed Sewehli is a pro-democracy activist. He's actually based in the UK, but Ahmed, you're visiting Istanbul, so thank you very much for coming into our studio. First of all, if Prime Minister al-Sarraj in Tripoli needs external assistance, it clearly suggests that he is on the back foot in terms of facing Khalifa Haftar's illegal militia. How bad is the situation of those who are fighting on behalf of the government, who are also other militias, not just government troops?
Yes, indeed. But the fact is that it's not a militia which is fighting against the civilian government in Tripoli. It is a number of countries, and that's been going on for at least...
OK, so first of all, you're talking about Khalifa Haftar's militia.
Yes, of course.
OK,
yes.
carry on.
There are at least for 5 years now, the United Arab Emirates and Egypt, as well as France, have been backing Khalifa Haftar, not only with weapons, but also with troops. In 2016, the French government admitted that 3 of its soldiers had been killed in a helicopter crash in Benghazi. We moved 3 years on to 2019, and they admitted that Javelin anti-tank missiles, which were found close to Tripoli, which were bought by the French government from the Americans, were actually their weapons. So France has been involved. What agreement have they had with any government in Libya to be intervening in this manner? The United Arab Emirates has a air base which they have constructed near Marj, which is near Benghazi. For the last 3 years, the United Nations panel of experts have spoken about it, and that's where their drones and indeed other fighter jets set off from to bomb Tripoli. Has the United Arab Emirates ever had an agreement with the Tripoli government or any other government to be able to intervene in Libya? No. So basically, there's an invasion of Libya by more than one country. And of course, Sarraj's government and the militias and army which are fighting on behalf of the government are unable to defend Tripoli from all these states at the moment. OK, so what role do you think Sarraj sees potentially Turkish troops playing? Would they be protecting certain parts of the capital, or would he actually like to see them engaged in fighting? Do we have any idea? I'm not aware of the facts regarding this. I'm sure that both governments are in talks about what needs to happen. What we mustn't forget is that the Europeans have been watching on whilst the government that they recognize is under attack for the last 5 years. And indeed, Russian mercenaries, for example, from the Wagner Group, there are about 1,200 or 1,300 of them, are only 10 or 15 kilometers away from the center of Tripoli. What has Europe done? What has America done to stop these? Diplomatically, via sanctions, legally, nothing at all. So the fact that Turkey is offering help and the government of Tripoli has asked for this help, I think might be some relief for Libyans in Tripoli, because they are being bombed every day and there are casualties. There are children we are hearing of being killed every day. Indeed, there are reports, there are videos. I mean, I saw 2 days ago a school which was hit and children running for their lives. And that's, again, by foreign jets, which nobody's doing anything about.
This issue of the European Union, okay, we know that Germany, the United Kingdom and France have been trying to speak to Sarraj. Can they make any difference, having previously offered assistance and having let him down? Can they have any influence on him now? And if Turkish troops do eventually end up in Libya, could that be something that eventually forces the European Union to take some sort of action, specifically because of their fears that Turkey could become a major player in Libya, which is just across the border from the EU?
Indeed, we are already seeing the effects of just the talks between Turkey and Libya having an effect on the on movement in Tripoli. So, for example, you may be aware that the day before yesterday there was an Arab League emergency meeting which tried to stop foreign intervention. Now, of course, there already is foreign intervention, as reported by the United Nations panel of experts. In terms of the European Union, I don't think that France is helping Sarraj at all. In fact, France has been attacking Tripoli and has been, indeed, they invited Haftar to Paris and treated him as if he was a president. And that was one of the reasons why Haftar was encouraged to continue with his coup d'etat, which is a very slow coup d'etat. It's been going on for 5 years. He's not succeeded. He never has been a successful military commander at all. I mean, for example, you may be aware that he was imprisoned after being captured in the war against Chad in the 1980s, was brought back after 30 years of retirement, and indeed at the moment he's being used by all these countries. I think it's the countries which are fighting Tripoli at the moment, which are at the moment thinking, what is Turkey going to do? I think the Arab countries who are attacking Libya are worried. The European Union is in a bit of a quandary because France, as I said, has been supporting Haftar. The UK, of course, is more focused on Brexit and has just had elections recently, so I don't think has been that much involved. Don't forget that in April, as soon as Haftar attacked Tripoli, the then Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt, he insisted that Haftar withdraw immediately. That fell on deaf ears because the rest of the European Union, as I said, was in a quandary. Germany, I think, has been trying its best. There's been this Berlin process which has been going on, but Germany has been trying to get all parties together to agree a deal. But what I understand is that France has been against this, and that's why we've got nowhere with that. I think the involvement of Turkey is not necessarily just the military involvement, but it is having diplomatic repercussions, which might force this attack on Tripoli back.
Ahmed Sewehli, thank you so much indeed for coming in and giving us that analysis. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.